Yeah. Now, because here's the thing, like when you've got like, because in the Catholic Church, there's three big authorities. The three main ones is
Ambrose,
Scripture.
Augustine, Jerome, and Gregory the Great.
Okay.
Jerome
Okay.
was the one I forgot.
Yes. 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 And yeah, he's actually credited for giving us our modern canon in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But the three big authorities are Scripture, the Magisterium, sacred tradition. Those are the
Mhm.
three big
Right.
authorities there. Now, depending on what Catholic you talk to, is how they would order those three. I suspect yours would probably go something in the order of like Scripture, Magisterium, then sacred tradition. I like in a lot of the traditions I was raised in, sacred tradition would be the main authority, then Scripture, then the Magisterium. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like that's old Irish Catholics where it's like,
Right.
oh, the Irish folks are very superstitious just in and of themselves. So
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah, the way we look at it is we see one as an interpretation of another, right? So scripture is obviously going to be that high level of authority, but then how you interpret any given thing that's in scripture kind of is important. And so it is then sacred tradition that helps us interpret scripture, and then sacred tradition itself has to there's apparent contradictions that arise from interpreting that, and so you need the magisterium to be able to address problems in the here and now, right? So even today, if Pope Leo, says that we need to call a church council because we're having trouble interpreting what this particular concept means, then he's going to call that council. He's going to, the last time they did it was Vatican II. I don't know if Leo's going to call one. I doubt it because these things usually are about 100 years apart. It hasn't been that long yet. But each one becomes an interpretation of it. That is to say, yeah, you can say the only level of authority that I recognize is the Bible, but then you're going to run into different ways of interpreting things in the Bible, and you're going to run into that pretty darn fast. And so, if your highest level of interpretation is yourself, that's going to be a problem, right? Because most churches have more than one person in them.
yeah.
So now you're going to have, if you have a church of 500,000 people, you're going to have 500,000 interpretations of something.
Now the
And
way
so,
I look at it is,
yeah,
you take like the early church fathers, for example, like
yeah,
Ignatius of Antioch. You take
yeah,
Clement and a couple of these other early, and you can go through the different theologians throughout the eras, and the Scripture is the highest authority. You
hmm,
can look at these other
yes,
authorities and see what they have to say, but the minute they contradict Scripture, you go with Scripture. Okay, that's the way
well, of
that.
course, yeah, of course,
And because again, like keep in mind, all these great theologians we've talked about, you, me, everybody, we're no more than 80% right on our best day when it comes to, all things heavenly. So we have to give ourselves and give everybody a little grace.